Let's look at a few ways to measure what we've talked about this morning. Well, if I'm targeting correctly, I should be able to look at my entire promotional effort, and that would be my direct marketing, pre-marketing campaigns. It would be any presence I have at the show through sponsorships. It would be the media where I have presence, for example, on the show website, your own websites, on any kind of video that plays at the show, the big video screen, the wall, aisle banners, escalator, wraps, whatever. But my impressions I make are exposures for the company and your messages to the eyes of our targeted individuals. And those have a great deal of value, and they can be counted. Somebody asked a question? Sorry, okay. Targeted visitor interactions. You should be able to count not only the number of people who come to your exhibit, but how many of those become actively engaged, and how many of those people who became actively engaged actually fit your target profiles. In that case study I told you about, Case Equipment Corporation, we actually identified literally everybody who came in by having them bring or be listed in a database of having received the pre-mailer. Guess what? If they weren't on the pre-mail list, they actually weren't a qualified lead. That's how thoroughly we had developed that list by the time the show ran. So how many targeted visitor interactions do we have? How many prospect meetings did we hold? Or people who were prospects, how many demos did they participate in? So this is really getting down to counting the interactions, not just their presence. Customer meetings. How many customer meetings did we schedule during this last event? How many did we schedule versus how many happened, so we can understand our effectiveness of our campaign to get customers to interact with us? How many at-show action steps were taken? Do you remember the example of getting the large marine end customer to actually get into the estimator demo in the exhibit? Well, that becomes at-show action step. Then how many actually took the after-show action step of continuing that in more detail? So the post-show action steps are really your ultimate measure of success, because those are what leads to return on investment. And by the way, when you have meetings with customers, or you have meetings with suppliers, or you have meetings with the press, most of you, how many of you have as one of your primary measures, how many leads do you get? Okay, a lot of you. So let me give you another one. Every kind of interaction and meeting that you have at the show should have a specific goal, and that is to result in a follow-up. And that's what my big clients who don't take leads, like Defense has a 10-year sales cycle. Well, they don't take leads at shows. We had 2 clients here yesterday for private meetings, and one of them does not take any leads at shows. And so we talked about the goal for the interactions must become to have a follow-up. And if there's a follow-up, there's something that's going to happen. If there is no follow-up, you just had a meeting. So consider that as your additional goal beyond leads.